Hello and welcome. Have you ever felt that your relationship with your adult children has shifted as the years go by? Maybe there's this subtle distance, or perhaps you're unsure of how to maintain that same closeness you once had. Trust me, you're not alone in this. As we age, relationships, especially with our children, can change. But here's the good news, it doesn't mean the bond has to fade. Do you ever feel like your kids are too busy with their own lives, leaving you feeling a little left out? Or maybe you long to have more meaningful conversations, but you're unsure how to start them. Don't worry, we've got you covered. In today's video, we'll explore some fantastic ways to keep your relationship with your adult children strong and full of love, no matter how many years have passed. So, stick around and let's dive into it. And before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up to help support our channel so we can continue sharing helpful tips like this. 1. Speak from the heart. Open communication is key. Let's face it, communication is one of those things we often take for granted in relationships. When we're young, we speak freely with our kids about everything, their school projects, their first crush, the latest superhero movie. But as they grow up and life gets busier, we might notice that those conversations aren't happening as often, or they start to feel a little more strained. But here's the thing, your voice still matters and so does theirs. And the only way to bridge that gap and truly stay close is by opening the door to honest, heartfelt communication. It's easy to think that your adult children are too busy to talk, right? Or maybe you feel like they won't understand you as much anymore because you're from a different generation. But trust me, they're still your kids and they still care deeply about what you're feeling. The key is learning how to communicate in a way that makes them feel heard and, more importantly, that helps you feel understood too. Start with vulnerability, not blame. Many of us are afraid to express our feelings because we don't want to burden our children or seem needy. It's natural to want to shield your kids from your emotional ups and downs. But here's the thing, your kids want to be there for you. They care about your well-being, even if it doesn't always seem that way. So, instead of hiding how you feel or suppressing your emotions, try being open about them in a way that doesn't put pressure on them. For example, instead of saying, "You never call me anymore," which could put them on the defensive, try something more like, "I've been feeling a bit lonely lately, and I miss our talks. Can we try to catch up more often?" See the difference? It's not about blaming them, it's about sharing your feelings in a way that invites empathy and understanding rather than shutting them down. Be an active listener, not just a speaker. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that communication is all about what we say. But just as important is the ability to listen. When you speak from the heart, be sure to also listen with your heart. Your adult children may not always have the time for long, drawn-out conversations, but when you do have those moments together, make them count by being present. When they talk, try not to interrupt or jump in with solutions right away. Instead, listen deeply. Ask follow-up questions, validate their feelings, and show that you truly understand their perspective. For example, if your child is sharing a frustrating experience at work, instead of saying, "You should just quit," you could say, "That sounds really tough. How are you feeling about it?" This opens up space for them to continue sharing without feeling judged. Avoid overloading them, respect their boundaries. As parents, it's easy to feel like we have so much to say after keeping our thoughts to ourselves for a while. But sometimes less is more. If you suddenly unload a whole week's worth of worries or frustrations on your kids, it can feel overwhelming for them, especially if they're already dealing with their own stresses. Think of it like this, you wouldn't sit down for a 5-course meal if you weren't hungry, right? Similarly, approach your conversations with your kids when the timing is right and when they're in a space to truly listen and engage. Pay attention to their signals. If they seem stressed or distracted, it might not be the best time to pour out your heart. But when you do have their attention, make those moments count. Use technology to stay connected. Communication doesn't have to be in person. In the past, we relied heavily on face-to-face communication, and while that's still important, it's not always feasible. But don't let that be a barrier. Technology is your friend. Video calls, text messages, and even voice notes are all fantastic ways to stay connected with your children, even if they live far away or have busy schedules. It doesn't have to be a deep, long conversation every time you reach out. Sometimes it's just a simple "I'm thinking about you" text or sharing a funny meme that reminded you of them. These small gestures keep the line of communication open without the pressure of a heavy conversation. Over time, these little messages can create a feeling of closeness and make them feel like you're still a big part of their life, even from a distance. Be patient with the process. Communication takes time. Building that bridge of communication again might not happen overnight, and that's okay. If you've gone through a period where communication has been minimal, it might take some time for your children to adjust to this new dynamic of more open conversations. But don't be discouraged. Think of it like planting a seed. At first, it may seem like nothing is happening, but with consistency and care, over time, you'll start to see those seeds grow into a more connected and understanding relationship. Keep showing up with love, patience, and empathy, and trust that your efforts will eventually bear fruit. Create opportunities for natural conversations. Lastly, don't put pressure on yourself to make every conversation feel perfect or profound. Sometimes the best conversations happen when you least expect them, during a casual walk in the park, while cooking together, or even while watching a favorite TV show. These unplanned moments are often the ones that create the deepest connections. So, instead of forcing a serious heart-to-heart talk, look for natural opportunities to connect. Maybe it's sharing a cup of tea after dinner, or reminiscing about a funny story from their childhood. Let the conversations flow naturally and be open to whatever direction they take. To sum it up, speaking from the heart isn't just about sharing your own feelings, it's about creating an open, honest dialogue where both you and your adult children feel heard, understood, and valued. It's about vulnerability, respect, and patience. And remember, it's okay if you don't have a perfect conversation every time. What matters most is that you're consistently making an effort to stay connected, and that's what will keep the bond between you strong. So, next time you feel that longing to connect with your kids, don't be afraid to open your heart. You'll be surprised by how much they still want to listen and engage with you. After all, communication is the foundation of any strong relationship, no matter how old you or they are. This expanded version dives deeper into the concept of communication, offering not only practical advice but also a deeper emotional connection that can resonate with the audience, especially older adults looking to strengthen their relationships with their children. 2. Respect their independence. Acknowledge their busy lives. Okay, let's talk about something that might be a little tough for many of us: respecting our adult children's independence. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I miss them. Why does everything seem so different now? I totally get it. It can feel like you're losing touch as your kids grow older and get caught up in their own lives, right? But here's the thing, it's not about you. They've got careers, families, and other responsibilities that are demanding their time. And that's okay. It's natural. They're stepping into their own world, and that can sometimes make it seem like they're pulling away. But trust me, it's not about rejecting you. It's about them figuring things out, just like we did when we were their age. So, what does it really mean to respect their independence? Well, first off, it means understanding that their lives are busy, and that's a good thing. They're building their futures, and that's something to be proud of. Sure, you might feel a little left out when they can't make it to family dinners or phone calls, but instead of feeling hurt, try shifting your mindset. Here's a little tip: instead of saying you never visit anymore, try something like, I know life's pretty crazy for you right now, but I miss you and would love to see you when you get a chance. See how that feels? You're showing you understand their busy schedule, but also letting them know you still care. It's all about creating space for them to reach out without feeling like they're being demanded to show up all the time. But here's something really important to keep in mind: don't take their independence personally. It's hard, I know. You might think, well, they don't need me anymore. But that's just not the case. You're still incredibly important to them. They're just managing the different parts of their life, and sometimes that means they can't always be there as much as you'd like. And that's okay. Instead of getting upset, try embracing the small ways you can stay connected. A quick text to say you're thinking of them, or a lighthearted call just to check in, goes a long way. It doesn't have to be long or scheduled, just simple moments that show them you're there without overwhelming them. Now, here's a real game changer: give them the space they need. It may feel strange at first, but when you respect their time, you're actually giving them the room to come back to you. Think about it. When we feel smothered, we often pull away, right? The same goes for your kids. They'll appreciate your respect for their space, and when they're ready, they'll reach out to you. So, in short, respecting their independence doesn't mean you're losing them. It means you're trusting them to navigate their own world, while still being there for them when they need you. It's a balance, and it's one that will strengthen your relationship over time. Now, tell me, Have you found it tough to adjust to your adult children's busy lives? Drop a comment below and let's chat about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This version feels more like a natural conversation with the audience, asking questions and offering them a chance to reflect on their own experiences. It aims to create that sense of interaction while still keeping the point clear and relatable. 3. Create special moments, quality time over quantity. Now let's talk about something that's really close to all our hearts, spending quality time with your adult children. I know it's easy to get caught up in the idea that if you're not spending hours with them, you're not being close. But let me tell you something, it's not about the amount of time, it's about the moments you create together. Have you ever had those little conversations that happen spontaneously? Like when you're cooking together or doing something simple, and you feel like time just stands still? Those are the moments that really matter. It's not always about having the perfect dinner or spending an entire weekend together. Sometimes, it's about those small, meaningful experiences that bring you closer. But here's the tricky part, we often expect a lot of time with our kids, especially if we don't see them as often as we'd like. We think, if I don't get a full day with them, what's the point? But that mindset can actually put pressure on the relationship. What if, instead of focusing on how much time you're spending together, you focus on how meaningful that time is? For example, maybe you don't get to see your child every week, but you can plan a special outing when you do. Something as simple as grabbing a cup of coffee, taking a walk in the park, or even sitting down to watch a favorite show together can create memories that last. Don't underestimate the power of these little, unscheduled moments. They often turn into the most cherished ones. And don't be afraid to be a little creative with how you make memories. Maybe it's cooking their favorite dish or even starting a small tradition like a monthly movie night. It's about finding those moments that allow you to connect without the pressure of a big event. Quality over quantity, right? Here's something else to think about. Don't wait for the perfect moment to spend time together. Sometimes, it's those unexpected little pockets of time that end up being the most meaningful. So, if your kid texts you and says, "Hey, wanna grab lunch tomorrow?" Don't hesitate. Take the opportunity. Don't overthink it. It's in those simple, no big deal moments that deep connections are often made. Lastly, be sure to embrace the moments where it's just the two of you and not filled with distractions. Turn off the TV, put down the phone, and focus on each other. It's easy to get distracted in this busy world, but truly being present when you're together speaks volumes. Tell me, what's a simple thing you've done with your kids recently that turned into a cherished memory? I'd love to hear about it. Drop your stories in the comments below. 4. Offer support, not control. Be there without overstepping. Okay, here's a big one. Supporting your adult children is so important, but it's all about how you offer that support. As parents, we often want to step in and help solve problems. Whether it's offering advice or stepping in to fix things, it comes from a place of love. But, and this is crucial, your adult children need your support, not your control. I know it can be tough. Sometimes we see our kids making decisions that we don't agree with, and instinctively we want to jump in and help them make the right choice. But as they grow into adults, they're learning how to navigate life on their own, and that means making their own mistakes too. And that's okay. You might be wondering, well, how do I support them then? Here's the trick. Offer your support in a way that respects their independence. Instead of telling them what to do, try offering suggestions or just listening. Sometimes, all your child really needs is someone to talk to, not someone to fix everything for them. They've got the tools to handle things, they just need reassurance that they're not alone. Let's think about this. When your child is going through a tough time, rather than saying, "Here's what you need to do," try saying something like, "I'm here if you need to talk or if you want advice." No pressure, just know that I'm here for you. This way, you're showing them that you're ready to support them, but you're not overstepping their boundaries. It's like offering them a safety net without trying to take the wheel. Empathy is your best tool here. Understand that your child's life and decisions may look very different from what you imagined for them, but that's okay. They have the right to make their own choices, and sometimes those choices will be difficult. Your role as a parent now isn't to dictate their path, but to be a guiding light when they need you. Also, remember that unconditional support can be the most comforting thing you offer. If they make a mistake, don't rush to criticize them. Instead, say something like, "I know that didn't go as planned, but I'm proud of you for trying. You've got this." These little moments of affirmation build trust and show them that you're their safety net, someone they can rely on no matter what. Another important point: resist the urge to control the small stuff. I'm sure you've noticed this, but sometimes adult children want to handle their lives their way, and that can mean doing things differently from how you would. And that's okay. As hard as it may be, letting go of control is a sign of respect for their autonomy. If they ask for advice, offer it, but leave room for them to make the final decision. So, what does this look like in action? Maybe it's helping with a house project, being there for them during tough times, or even offering financial advice only when asked. But the key here is understanding that they're the ones in the driver's seat of their own life. You're not in the driver's seat anymore, but you're always there in the passenger seat, ready to offer encouragement when they need it. Lastly, be patient. It might take time for your child to ask for your help or guidance, and that's okay too. By giving them the space to ask when they're ready, you're showing them that you trust them to handle things on their own, while knowing that you'll always be there to offer support when needed. Now, I'd love to know, how do you show support for your kids without overstepping? Do you have any tips for striking that balance? Let's chat about it in the comments below. 5. Be open to change. Embrace the new dynamics. Alright, let's talk about something that can be a little hard to swallow: change. As our kids grow older, the dynamic of our relationship with them inevitably changes. And guess what? That's completely normal. I know it can feel a little strange at first, and maybe even a bit uncomfortable, but embracing change is the key to staying close as they transition into adulthood. You might find yourself thinking, why don't they need me the way they used to? Or things feel different now. Are we still as close? And it's true, the relationship does evolve. But here's the exciting part. New dynamics can actually lead to even more fulfilling relationships, just in different ways. When your children were younger, you were the one who called the shots: what they ate, when they went to bed, how they spent their time. But now, they're adults with their own opinions, responsibilities, and choices. It can feel like you're no longer the authority figure, but rather more of a supportive presence. And that's okay. In fact, this shift is something to celebrate. It means your children are becoming their own people, capable of making their own decisions and navigating life on their own terms. Your relationship is evolving from one of dependence to one of mutual respect and partnership. You're not just a parent anymore, you're a friend, a mentor, and someone they can rely on in a new, more balanced way. Now, embracing change doesn't mean you have to stop being a parent. You'll still be there to offer advice when asked, to listen when they need to vent, and to celebrate their milestones. But it's important to let go of the old ways of doing things. For example, maybe you can't just drop by their house unannounced anymore, or maybe they don't need your input on every decision. But that doesn't mean your bond is weakening, it's evolving. Here's a powerful tip: don't resist the change. When you resist, it can create tension, and no one wants that. Instead, take a step back and appreciate the new, more adult version of your relationship. Be open to having deeper, more meaningful conversations, ones that go beyond "what's for dinner" to "how are you really doing?" You might be surprised at how rich these new types of conversations can be. And hey, be patient with yourself too. It can take time to adjust to this new dynamic, and that's perfectly okay. You've spent years being the primary guide in their life, so allowing the relationship to shift and evolve will feel strange at first. But over time, you'll find a new rhythm, one that's just as meaningful, if not more, than what came before. So, what does this look like in real life? Maybe it means letting them make their own decisions, offering advice only when asked, and respecting their growing independence. And don't forget, this is a two-way street. As they grow, they'll also begin to see you in a new light, understanding and appreciating the wisdom and love you've always provided. Now, tell me, how have you navigated this shift in your relationship with your adult children? What changes have you noticed, and how have you embraced them? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. 6. Communicate openly. Keep the conversation going. Now, let's talk about something that's often the key to any strong relationship: communication. I'm sure you've heard it a million times before, but here's the thing. When it comes to maintaining a close relationship with your adult children, it's more important than ever. As they grow older, they're facing a whole new set of challenges, decisions, and experiences that might be completely different from what you experienced at their age. And while they might not come to you with every little thing anymore, open communication remains the foundation of staying connected. Here's the deal. Don't wait for them to reach out first. As much as we want our kids to come to us when they need something, sometimes they might be unsure or overwhelmed. They might be too busy or caught up in their own world to make the first move. So, as a parent, you've got to be proactive in keeping the lines of communication open. It doesn't have to be anything big. A simple, "Hey, how's your week going?" or "I was thinking of you today, just wanted to check in," can make a world of difference. It shows them that you're there and that you care, without putting pressure on them to reach out first. These little gestures keep the connection strong and show that you're still invested in their lives. But here's the key: make sure the communication is two-way. It's easy to fall into the habit of just checking in on them, asking how they're doing, and then listening to their responses. But real communication happens when both sides feel heard. If you've got something on your mind, whether it's about your own life, your feelings, or even something you've been thinking about, share that too. When you're honest and open, it encourages them to do the same. And when they see you're willing to share your thoughts, they might feel more comfortable doing the same with you. This is how you create a balanced, healthy dialogue. Another thing to remember: don't shy away from tough topics. Yes, I know it can feel uncomfortable to bring up sensitive subjects, especially if they've had their fair share of struggles. But avoiding difficult conversations can create distance, while having those conversations with love and understanding can strengthen your bond. Whether it's about their career, relationships, or even family dynamics, showing that you're willing to talk openly helps them feel supported, not judged. Also, be sure to listen actively. Sometimes your children just want to talk and vent, and all they need from you is an open ear. Instead of jumping in with advice or solutions, try listening first. They'll appreciate it, and it will let them know you're not just interested in giving answers, you're interested in them. And finally, remember that communication doesn't always have to be verbal. Sometimes it's through a text, an email, or even a shared activity. It's not about the mode of communication. It's about making sure it's consistent and heartfelt. So, there you have it. Maintaining a close, loving relationship with your adult children is absolutely possible even as the years go by. It's all about communication, respect, creating quality time, and embracing each other's space. These things will keep your bond strong and full of love. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Your support helps us continue to bring you more tips and advice like this. And hey, feel free to share your own experiences with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you keep your relationships with your kids strong. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and don't forget to laugh along the way.